Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, March 31st, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is, I recognize that my aligned actions are valuable and healing for the world. All right, so I did not manage to make a video post for Neptune moving into Aries, and yet there's still time. We can do this today, and I actually had some really interesting insight come in for this shift. So let's start off by saying it's been 165 years, approximately, since Neptune was last in Aries. Neptune will be in Aries for a few months, and then it will retrograde back into Pisces for one last hurrah, and then it will move into the sign of Aries for the next 13-14 years. So we have time. We have time to adjust to this energy. But when I was meditating and sinking into the feeling of Neptune in Aries, what I was reminded of is the hullabaloo that was going on in the world when Neptune moved into Pisces. So 2011, 2012, 2013. This is when Neptune is entering into Pisces. And if you remember, there was a lot of talk about how the Mayan calendar was ending, that it was the end of the world. And I have to tell you that every time that I've sat down to think about Neptune and Aries, the song, "It's the End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine," has popped into my head. And I actually think that looking over the last 13, 14 years of Neptune moving through Pisces, that we have been in the process of completing a cycle, and it has been the end of the world as we know it. Which means with Neptune in Aries, we're creating something new. And what came into my mind around that is how we as creators, each of us, in our actions, in our thoughts, in our words, in our deeds, in everything, are being the change. We are creating this new world. Now, of course, with Neptune energy, it's not necessarily like we're going to just see it right there, right then, as it happens. But I think this is something to be aware of as we are tiptoeing into the beginning of Neptune in Aries, adjusting to this energy. The power that we have to create, the power of our vision, the power in who we are, and that truly we are all co-creating this together. And so this is a call to remember who you are. And I think together we can create something better than what has been. Now, this is going to take some deconstruction and reconstruction. There's going to be death and rebirth in all of this. And yet, in every action, thought, deed, communication, recognize that your actions, who you are, how you're showing up in the world, is so valuable. It means something. And it's healing for the world. So, if you look about anything with Neptune and Aries, it talks about holy wars, which, the religions of the world are still playing out a lot of, I don't know what it is. Deep fear and issues around power and control is what it looks like, most of it. How their religion is right, and they own this land, and this and that and the other. And I think that we could have more of that, to be fair. With Neptune and Aries. The very first image that popped up in my mind when I was thinking about Neptune and Aries was the image of Don Quixote, who would fight windmills. And he fought windmills to pretend that he was a knight and to show chivalry. And we could have those out there who are fighting the windmills, who are like, yes, let me show you how dapper and strong and brave I am. But I think that there's other things that we can address and put our energies towards. Neptune's an interesting planet because Neptune is the planet where I will encourage us to use our illusion. This is where daydream and imagination and vision can take hold and become something more. But there's also the delusion that goes hand in hand with the illusion. And I think we want to be really very aware of what energy we put into any given illusion through this time, because as we start to think about something, we start to feel something, and then we get reactive about it. And this happens on like a physical body level. I have a sneeze coming. Hold on. Woo. Okay. This happens on like our physiological level, but it also happens like in the world. And right now there's a lot of stuff going on that's making many of us, most of us, feel reactive. And so being very aware of what's getting your goat, what energies are riling you, and what you're putting your energy towards is going to be very important. And this is so nice that we get a little practice round, right? Here's our practice round, and we can see what happens. We can see what we create. Like I said, this transit's going to be much longer, but the awareness is going to be important. Now, another thing to be really aware of is Aries energy can also spike our ego. And as Neptune, this planet of spirituality, connects with Aries, we may see people popping up like as gurus, know-it-alls, all of that. Watch out for spiritual ego in ourselves and out there as well. I believe that it can be really powerful to have a guide and to have support. And I really believe that we all have perfect divine connection to God's spirit universe, where you don't need a proxy or an intercessor or whatever to help yourself connect to what you are. I will also say that I've watched myself go through spiritual awakenings and so many other people, and a lot of times it does come with the ego phase. So be aware, there's going to be a lot of people waking up, but the ego phase will be alive and well. And so awareness of that is going to be really important. So keep that in mind with this energy as well. I think the biggest thing to be aware of is where we are blinded by ego and in reaction, in illusion, delusion reaction, the messes that we can create. There is also a lot of good that came forth with Neptune and Aries. I do believe we will make so much progress, but there are still karmic energies that we're going to have to address through this time. So like I said, this is just until October that we're going to experience this. But notice, more so than ever, because I think there's a lot of astro that's actually like kind of pushing this agenda, but notice more so than ever how and what you're creating. And if your actions are aligning with your higher sense of values. Now, this week is interesting. Today is quiet. We've got the moon in Taurus and like no super major astro energies going on. And I think it's because we're adjusting to Neptune and Aries. But I mentioned this the other day. We're building to Saturn, Uranus in a sextile, which is a helpful connection. But that's an interesting connection that they're going to be working. Saturn in Pisces, which is helping us wrap up karma. And Uranus in Taurus, which, by the way, it's a lazy cat connection. We're going to be feeling that this week. But Uranus in Taurus helping us, gosh, I almost feel like liberate ourselves from this wheel of karma that we've been on for a really long time. So it's such a powerful time, but your responsibility and your personal revolution really matters at this time in this energy. It's going to take Neptune, I think, till the end of April to get beyond 0 degrees. So we're going to be hanging out in the 0. There's a lot of potentiality in the 0, but it can also feel a little wonkified. So be aware of that as well. The other thing that I want to mention, because I've seen a lot of talk of this, is that Lilith is not technically, Black Moon Lilith is not technically in the sign of Scorpio right now. Black Moon Lilith oscillates quite a bit. It's like a woman going about her daily whatever. And if you follow any given woman, there's a good chance that she's here, there, and everywhere. And after what she did, she might be like, oh, whatever, you know, just a normal day. And it's been everywhere. And that's the way Lilith is. She oscillates. She moves so much. And so she was in Scorpio. She's back in Libra right now. And Lilith in Libra is helping us move past some of our, I don't know what the right word is. I don't know. Codependence with others, balance, beauty, keeping things harmonious all the time. Lilith in Scorpio can take it to another level, but Lilith in Libra is doing that work right now. So be aware where you may feel in yourself places where you don't honor your own values because you're trying to keep that harmony. And see where you can remind yourself that your actions are very, your truest aligned with you actions are very healing and valuable for the world. So let's look at the cards that we have. Top of the cards is harmony. And speaking of Libra, I talk about this a lot with Libra energies, that if you are choosing harmony outside of yourself and at war within yourself, ultimately you're creating more wars. And so just be aware of this, that inner harmony, finding beautiful communication between your mind and your heart is powerful. It's powerful. Aligning with your consciousness and being aware of the subconscious and how much the subconscious can do. We still have North Node hanging out in Pisces. Saturn's in Pisces. Mercury and Venus have retrograded back into Pisces. So there is still a lot of the karmic work that's being worked through, unfolded at this time. And a lot of that can coincide with our subconscious. So if you do fall into old patterns, cool. What's even cooler is noticing it. The fact that you're noticing it and shifting, healing happening right there. We are the world. Here we are together. And I truly believe, and I've said this, I'm going to keep saying this, that as we embrace our truest selves, the world heals. And so this is going to be a big part of the work of Neptune in Aries. And who are we? I really believe that Rumi verse, you are the soul of the universe, and your name is love. Like, that's our core. And so it's peeling away all the other layers, all the other places where somebody's told you to be something other than that. So love that. Final card is the stress card in reverse. If it doesn't work the first time, no stress, no stress. It's a Taiko song that just popped into my head. But see where, if you start getting into your head about all this stuff, where you can get back into your consciousness. Take your monkey out for a walk. See where you can shift your stress in this energy. Let's not create from stress. Let's create from love. Let's create from honoring our values. Let's create from knowing the worth of things. And that's our last card to finish up this scope. Worth. You've been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. And then we've got a little tiger to remind us, eye of the tiger. I think that's part of the process of creating a new world. Yeah. So I'm going to leave that there for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And may your guiding light be strong so that you know that you can trust the process. And remember, you and me, we are the solution. Namaste.